If being a survivor were an Olympic sport, I'd have a fucking gold medal by now. Get into therapy, bronze medal. Join a support group, silver medal. Share your innermost guts and scariest feelings with large groups of both strange and familiar people. That's a gold fucking medal right there. And believe me, I've done it all. And I'm certainly not alone. I know lots of badass other women who share their experiences and work to help others. I know plenty of badass women who don't. They just survive. When you've been violated in an intimate way, let me tell you, that's a goddamn hat trick. I share my experiences with sexual violence quite a lot. I share how I was molested as a child, sexually harassed as a young professional, and sexually assaulted as an adult. These things, they don't cause me much shame. No, not anymore. I've told my story so often, it's become a part of who I am. I sometimes think that people who know me well have just come to expect me to give me airtime to sexual violence at every turn. There is, however, a part of my story that I still carry shame, hurt, and rage about. I don't share it because it's not really what you want to hear from the Me Too movement. It's not something there are a lot of books about, and certainly not something that's been made to primetime TV. I've also been abused by women. My mother's abuse is something I hardly ever talk about, and as a writer, I really don't write about it either, but it sits in the corner of my mind. And I tend to push it away most of the time. Oh, it'll pop out once or twice a year, and then I'm really stuck for about a solid week. My hands feel dirty where my mom made me rub lotion all over her body. I hear her moans. I remember seeing all her naked body, even places where I was taught not to look. My mother slept naked in my bed until I was way too old to have a parent sleep with me. As a child, I worried my mom and I were having sex. Looking back at this today, I realize I had good reason to be confused. My mother took ill a physical illness to match the mental one she's been hiding all her life. She lost all capacity to be a mother, and she was now my patient. A patient I was glad to get rid of when I went off to college. She died when I was 21. I was sad, but not too sad. And that eats at me to this day. Around the time of my mother's death, I had a hunger for a mother figure. I wanted a mom who would go shopping with me, talk to me about my friends. When I was sick, call me to see how I was feeling. I never had that. And when I realized what I was missing out on, I started cutting myself. Young regret mixed with clinical depression is a recipe for self-harm. I felt the need to tell someone, and I chose a professor that I admired. She swooped in like some sort of skinny, awkward Kierkegaard quoting bird, offering me a place to stay after graduation, and all sorts of motherly things. I was thrilled. Life in her home turned out to be a nightmare. I got a job locally, and when I wasn't working, I was sleeping my depression away. This was unacceptable to her, and I soon became her housemaid on my days off. I was accused of eating leftovers I never touched. Notes were left on my bedroom door of what I did wrong that day, and I was accused of being part of the family when it was convenient for me. Wait a minute, I was part of the family? I never once felt that. Nor was that part of the arrangement. She had been going around telling everybody that I was her new daughter. That certainly wasn't part of my terms or conditions. My mom had just died a few months previous. I wasn't ready for someone to outwardly take that title in my life. And one day, she and her husband just threw me out. You'd think that I learned after that experience. But then I moved to the East Coast after finishing grad school, and I met her. She was an older, outgoing, petite, and musical woman who worked at the same university as me. I had a girl crush, or at least I wanted to be like her. We both had music degrees, were part of the same religious denomination, hated housework, and she loved me at first sight. She invited me to join the choir she led, and she gave me awesome solos. She invited me to her house and told me about her sons that were about my age. It didn't take long for me to open up to her about everything. My childhood abuse, my relationship with my mother, and all the dirty secret things I swore I would never tell anyone. She responded warmly, the way I had always assumed mothers would. I quickly came to love this woman. She said that she would be the mother I never had. She had immense capacity for love and warmth. I felt as if I had come home. When my roommate situation went south, she invited me to live with her and her husband. Deja vu, right? It was my professor situation all over again. I rationalized that it would be different. It was, yet it wasn't. This woman hurt me so much deeper than any woman before, aside from my mother. She was hot and cold. One minute I was being hugged by her, the next she refused to talk to me. I was either on her high praise list or her shit list. There were unwritten rules, including needing for me to go to my room and close the door when she was on the phone with her sons. I was expected to be her emotional support, fight all her politics at work, and do all the housework. Maybe it's my brown skin that white women think I'm some sort of domestic. I don't know. She would say cutting, ruthless things that would send me to an emotional tailspin. I was invited on family trips, then disinvited at the last minute. Needless to say, I moved out. Our relationship continued, but it started to deteriorate. She said she couldn't handle my issues. I was too much for her. I had shared too much, asked too much, simply been too much, and it was all my fault. She called me abusive. I was speechless. She took advantage of me. She saw that I was looking for a parental figure, and when I brought my issues to her, I was blamed for crossing invisible boundaries that I was never made aware of. Rather than talking to me and telling me that I was sharing too much, she simply let it build until I was labeled an abusive person. I was told by others that knew her that she was a narcissist, but I loved her. I didn't want to believe it. A very good counselor pointed out to me all the ways that I've been emotionally abused myself and how abusive people look for abused people to latch onto. We're easy targets. I'm still recovering. I still sometimes feel like I'm a horrible person, that I'm too much, that I have too many issues to be a good human being. But I have many friends who remind me that I've been exposed to toxic thought. And damn it, I have value and worth. 3 toxic women have entered my life since birth. I can handle the abuse from men. Hell, I come to even accept it. But what takes up my journal space, my counseling space, my head space, is poison from the very people I thought that stood up for people like me, other women. Don't get me wrong, women are amazing, but we have the capacity to ruin lives and violate so deeply that the wounds will never close. And no one seems to be talking about this. But I'm going to start talking about it.